Hello folks, welcome to OTD, also known as On the Deck, where you can get all the sports you need in 10 minutes. My name is Adam Arduna, this is my mom China.
He is the journalist.
And she's the enthusiast.
I'm enthusiastic because I'm going to argue you down today.
Yeah,
we actually don't agree for the first time in a long time.
Well, let's get straight to it.
And I'm right.
And so we've got a big topic today, and this is in reference to college football players skipping out or electing to not play in postseason play. And
what he's trying to say is they quit on the bowl games.
Not playing in postseason play and not playing the bowl games. Part of that is the NCAA's fault because there are too many bowl games as it is. These bowl games have no meaning to it. And part of that is because there's too much money in it. And part of that needs to be mentioned because college football players don't have the luxuries that NFL players do, where they're guaranteed contracts and they have all these clauses written in. You score X amount of touchdowns, so many first downs, you pass for so many yards. No, they don't get that. They're considered amateur athletes. So in that case, they have the opportunity to go and play in the NFL. I like to use the analogy of, hey, if you're studying for the finals and you and your roommates are like, hey, we don't have class in the morning, etc., let's go out, let's have a good time, let's let loose. But you're the one guy that's sitting here saying, look, no, man, I got to focus on me and I got to get this final locked down. I'm right on the cusp. If I get a good grade on the final, then I'm passing. And if I don't and I sleep in and I get too drunk the night before, then it makes it hard on me to do well on the final. And so I understand why players and certain athletes are saying, hey, look, I don't want to do this. There are two athletes in particular right now that have big names.
So wait a minute, your point is that skipping the bowl game and prepping for the NFL is like people who say, I'm going to skip the party and stay in my room and study
party and hang out and go to the bars. It's equivalent to your team and these bowl games, these lower level bowl games where there really isn't any big implication. It's just you playing another team from another conference and just say, hey, we want to continue to play one more game, a glorified exhibition to what a lot of people are saying.
Wow.
It's one of those situations where you can understand why certain players are saying, hey, I've got an opportunity to be as healthy and as strong, and I want to be as fast and as athletic as I can be, as I'm going to be dissected by NFL scouts and all the draft and all of these. Hold on.
You've been going. I got stuff to say.
Okay, but let me go ahead and finish before you go ahead and go. This is the problem. People don't understand what it takes to be a college football player, and there is a lot put on the line. If that is the case, then the NCAA needs to do something about what is going on within these programs and how they are managed, these college athletes. Go ahead and go.
Well, we're talking about specifically this year Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette, who both have opted out of their bowl games. One's playing in the Citrus Bowl, one's playing in the Sun Bowl, the Hyundai Sun Bowl in El Paso, Texas. And both of these young men have said, I'm not going to play. Leonard Fournette is all-time great running back out of LSU. He's got NFL implications. Christian McCaffrey, whose dad was an all-star Hall of Famer in the NFL, he's from out of Stanford, and he's like, I've decided I'm not going to play. I'm going to prep my body for the NFL. Here's what I'm going to say about that. You're quitting. You're quitting on your team. And people could say, oh, they're not quitting. It's finally their opportunity. Call it exhibition games. They don't matter. I do agree with you on this point. The NCAA is allowing too many bowl games. When the bowl games become exhibition, when you got 45 people in the stands and you're playing 2 weeks before New Year's, the games don't matter, and I get it. If you cut down the bowl games and say we're only having 20 bowl games, that means 40 teams get to fill those slots, which means you better have winning seasons to get invited, so you can't take away the argument that the games don't count. So that's one of the things, and I get that. And I also understand, you don't want somebody taking a cheap shot at you, taking out your knee in a bowl game, and now you've lost millions of dollars going into the draft. I get all of that. But football has got to be more than just what's in it for me. It is the ultimate team sport, and you've got to be in it to say, I'm in it with you. What about the guys who blocked for Leonard Fournette and Christian McCaffrey all these years, all season long up to this point? Those guys are showing up at the bowl game, but you're not going to be there to run the ball behind them. And I'm not giving a pass to the coaches. Tom Herman, I think you're great. I hope you do well at Texas because Lord knows you've got Charlie Strong left a coffers full for you. I hope you do well. But I think it's shameful that you and Brian Kelly and any other number of coaches will leave your team behind before the bowl game to take off because you're sending the message the bowl games don't matter. So if it doesn't matter to the coach who can leave the team and say good luck, which, by the way, Houston got whooped by San Diego State without their head coach last Saturday in the Las Vegas Bowl. So I think it's quitting. Quitting is quitting is quitting. If your team is on the field, if you are physically able, you should be on the field. for the scout team guys, for the linemen, for the punter, for the special team guys, for everybody who put all their heart and soul into the season. You should be out on the field. And I don't care what excuse you give me. This is selfishness about you, your future. Fine, go get you, but let's call it what it is. But quit pretending you're not quitting.
But don't you think that those players did exactly what they needed to do to get those old linemen and those out, just like they blocked for them, the running back or the receiver or the quarterback also had to perform at a high level to get them to a place where they are in postseason play. Guess what? If the all-star running back or quarterback decides to leave, the third or second team receiver or running back gets an opportunity to shine in the bowl game that he's worked his tail off that whole time. If the guy ahead of him is saying, hey, I'm good, I need to go ahead and do something else, then guess what? Next man up, you've worked your tail off to your point. The third or fourth or whatever team guy now has an opportunity in the bowl game that means nothing. Now has an opportunity to go out there and outshine and say, guess what? So-and-so moved on. Now it's my turn. The future is still bright here, and it's their turn to go ahead and take the stage.
So Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette are doing this for the little guy. I'm going to go take care of me so the third-team guy can get his shot.
The third-team guy now has his chance. I never said he was doing it for them. I'm saying now they have an opportunity to do that. If they're doing it for themselves, they're saying, hey, I'm going to go do something else for me. The third-team guy or the second-team guy now has an opportunity to play in the bowl game on national television. Now the stage is theirs to go ahead and do that. As the number one guy, McCaffrey or Fournette or whoever gets a chance to go, now they're saying, hey, I'm going to the league. I've done what I had to do. Okay, but now someone else go ahead and finish.
Let's take this out of the realm of the Sun Bowl and the Citrus Bowl. What if you're talking about the Sugar Bowl, Cotton Bowl, Fiesta Bowl, Orange Bowl, Rose Bowl? What if you're talking about one of those games?
Yeah.
Is it okay for them to, because now those bowl games mean something. So is it all right for them to take off? Your team's playing into the semifinals and then the national championship. You're Leonard Fournette, same situation.
Yeah.
You're Christian McCaffrey, same situation. You could get hurt.
Yeah.
You could lose stock in the NFL playing in another 1 or 2 games.
Right.
Are they getting a pass for quitting on those games or not?
I'm not. I think that the onus still falls on the NCAA. It falls on the fact that the standard needs to be on those bowl games. If you don't make it to those bowl games, it's all a wash. It does not matter. If your team gets to that bowl game and then that player decides to not do it, it's still the exact same thing because, yeah, he could still get hurt. And if he decides to walk out and do something else, then guess what? It is the next guy up. The same guy that's on scholarship still has an opportunity to still make a play in the Rose Bowl while Leonard Fournette or whoever else is out resting and preparing for the NFL. You have to look at it case by case. Some players have the privilege and the home life that they don't have to worry about the NFL and they have their chances to. Some people need the NFL. Some people say, I have one chance to make something of my life. And that's what college experiences and college in general is about, is to better your future. And if you have an opportunity to do that, regardless of what bowl game it is, then they need to be able to do that. And if people feel a certain way about that, then that's how they feel.
Well,
but as a team, you get there as a team with everyone working hard. The last guy on the line, just like the first guy on the line, is all working hard together. And there should be other guys out there that support these players that are saying, hey, I need to go out and do some other things. You think it's quitting? I say, hey, you got to look at it as for what it is.
I don't think it's quitting. I know it's quitting. And let me say this. When these guys then go to the combine.
I just think it's easy to just call quitting because it's easy to say.
Listen, if you're not playing, you're quitting. Because what are you going to watch the bowl game at home?
Yeah,
and from the comfort of your house and you've quit?
Exactly.
But here's my other point.
Why is it quitting when they've scored touchdowns?
Let me make my final point. Because everybody else is still out there doing it. But here's my final point. If I'm sitting there as an NFL scout and I'm doing an interview with you after the combine, I'm going to look you across the table. I'm not going to say, oh, I see you chose not to play your last bowl game. I'm going to say, why did you quit? You know why? Because there are teams right now, Carolina Panthers, out of the playoffs. But Ron Rivera got them ready to play and say, this game's not going to get you in the postseason, but we still have to play. Right. Don't quit on yourself. New York Jets, who've been quitting all season long. You need people who are going to stay in the fight, whether it's a big bowl game or a little bowl game, whether it matters or not. You want people who are going to stay in the fight with their team. Okay. So to me, whatever the reasons are, they can be good reasons or not. You're quitting on your team. I don't like it. I think it shows a lack of character. Well, I do agree with you. We got too many games.
When that kid gets hurt,
he could get hurt anytime during the season.
But when he plays in a game, that means nothing to his future, and he has to have surgery on his shoulder, his knee, his ankle, and the NFL will say, It doesn't matter. He's never good anymore. We don't care. His life is now
then
done.
Get rid of the bowl games altogether.
In that
play the regular
game,
season.
That's
it.
Nothing
play the regular
him,
season.
And
No more bowl
his
games.
future is now at risk because of that. That is a problem.
Guess what? We're over time.
We are over time.
We are over time.
We are over
This
time.
will not be decided today. As you can see, we don't always agree.
There is no real good answer, and so we just know that there's a lot of people out there that have different feelings about it, and you're going to continue to see this. We don't hope that this is a trend. I'm one of those people that thinks that you need to be able to finish with your team. I'm one of those.
You would have played.
I am one of those people that understands the real struggle of what it takes to be a college football player, and the NFL is this. You have such a small sliver to make it in the NFL, and when you have an opportunity, you have to go ahead and do that.
Well, I got more to say, but it's time to go.
It is time.
I'm gonna let it go. I still love you, even though you're wrong.
Follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Type in my name, Adam Arduna, and YouTube. She is @repass_OTD and Twitter. Our official Twitter handle is OTD_on-the-deck. And just type us OTD on Facebook. We want to say we appreciate your time. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, Facebook Live. Sorry we were hollering. See how he does?